that John Clark is actually working on a Mars suit, which will go to Mars, I hope. If it goes to Venus, that'd be a mistake. But anyway, so John, please join us. Hooray! Turn around. Let everybody have a good look at you.
You doing life out there?
Do a turn. Do a pirouette. Don't take out the microphone.
No,
Needing to. How do I do this?
just undo this. Undo that hose. Yep, and one on the other side.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Can you breathe?
I can. The oxygen supply is excellent in here. I'm a member of the Apollo generation. I remember the first moonwalk. I was, 11 years old. I remember people walking on the moon. The current generation will be the Mars walk. And in the lifetime of people, hopefully my lifetime, but if not, then certainly my children's lifetime, we'll be seeing people walking on Mars. And what I do in Mars Society Australia, along with thousands of people around the world, is working step by step towards that goal, including people in this room. Why send people? Right? Robots are cool, robots are clunky, robots appeal to a lot of people. However, even while we astronauts are wearing bulky, uncomfortable, and I'll be explaining how bulky and uncomfortable they are, spacesuits, we can still work faster, with greater adaptation, and do things that robots can't. So I can walk across the room. The average rate of progress of a robot on Mars would be that distance in a day. Average, when you include all the time spent analysing rocks and waiting for the people on the ground like Penny to sort out what they're going to do next and so on.
Come on, Penny.
So that's why we want to send people. We are faster, smarter, certainly better looking than any robot. But we need an EVA suit, an extravehicular, if you're from America, suit, activity suit. And they're very, very complex. So this is the Russian Orlan, which is one of the best spacesuits available today. You see the outside there while Mikhail is doing an EVA on the International Space Station. To get into it, you open up the back and you slide into the hatch and you close the hatch behind you. It's a very efficient and clever design. Underneath it, like Samantha there, you have to wear a suit, a cooling suit, because it's like working inside a thermos flask. And you generate a lot of heat when you work hard. I'll be talking about how hard it is to actually work in a spacesuit. It's basically like running a marathon. Very, very tough. And so you have this suit which has thousands of little tubes in it. Water is circulated through that and then goes out through your backpack and is sublimated into space, taking that heat with it. Very efficient way of cooling, but very wasteful of water. The problem with all these suits, the Orlan, the extravehicular maneuvering unit used by the NASA astronauts, they're all too heavy from Mars. Who here goes bushwalking? Yep, good number of you. The rule of thumb when you go bushwalking is not to have a backpack that's more than about a third of your body weight, yeah?
Try a 10.
Try a 10. No more, no more. This was discovered back in the 19th century by the British Army. After the Crimean War, they did studies on what was the effective load for a soldier, and they came up with this rule. And every research project since then on ergonomics has demonstrated that. Armies around the world still ignore it, and they wonder why their soldiers get injured jumping out of trucks with spinal injuries, leg injuries, neck injuries from carrying too much stuff. A suit like the Emu there weighs something like 150 kilograms on Earth. On Mars, it would weigh about a third of that. Still far too heavy.
So you have to get really heavy astronauts?
Oh, really heavier astronauts, and they eat more, they breathe more, and then no, you want really teeny tiny astronauts. Very little women, basically. So these are too heavy. They're too inflexible. They're pressurized at about just under a third of an atmosphere. Your tyre, your average car tyre, is pressurized at about 2 atmospheres. So you imagine an almost flat tyre, and that's your spacesuit, and every time you move your arms like this, you're squashing that tyre. Very, very hard work. They're too stiff. They're too inflexible. They injure the wearers. Most astronauts end up with shoulder injuries requiring surgery after an EVA. That's no good. The cooling system, that wonderful thing of pipes and stuff, won't work on Mars because Mars has too dense an atmosphere for that to work. They're too uncomfortable for daily use. People come out of an EVA with broken fingernails, detached fingernails, blood blisters, raw spots on their bodies. You can't go outside every other day doing that. They're not wearable for long periods of time. They've got too much pressure, just like me at the moment. What do we need? We need something on Mars that's comfortable. You can wear almost every day. It's got to be light, between 30 and 55 kilos. It's got to be flexible, gloves like this. It's got to be cool and warm, low pressure, have external removable protection layers for all that nasty dust that Penny so loves. They've got to be easily fixed, cleanable, inside and out. Imagine trying to wear a suit that's been worn 100 times before without washing. No, thank you. What we want to do is to develop new spacesuits for Mars. And this is where the company I'm currently working with, Human Aerospace, is involved. We're building 3 types of spacesuits. A gravity loading IVA suit for wearing on the space station, and there it is being worn there on the right by a European astronaut to counteract zero gravity. An orthostatic suit, which stops people's blood draining from their head to their feet when they return to Earth gravity or Mars gravity, and a mechanical counterpressure suit for Mars. What the heck is a mechanical counterpressure suit? It's basically spandex on steroids. Woo! Now, where do I fit in? Well, I've spent a lot of time doing simulated Mars missions in various parts of the world, in the Canadian Arctic, in Utah, in the outback Australia. So I bring to this group a lot of practical experiences about working and living in remote areas, about the practicalities. So my role is to try and cast a jaundiced and realistic idea on the wild ideas of the engineers. This is an MCP suit. This was back in the 60s. The guy is wearing a compression suit in a vacuum change on the left, on a treadmill on the right. He can run up and down ladders. He can do all sorts of things you can't do in a conventional pressure suit. Here's an MCP glove. I'm wearing it there out near Cooper Pedy. There is James, our CEO, wearing it in a vacuum chamber. It looks like this little gardening glove here and is as flexible. Huge advance on what's available now. Without these improvements, the suits, be they MCP or conventional gas pressure suits, greater flexibility, much more comfortable, not injuring people, lighter. We're not going to be working on Mars. We're not going to be walking on Mars or doing anything else. We need them. So there will be time for questions afterwards, I believe.
Give John a round of applause.